that traumatic experiences that I had when I was a baby led me to maybe try to find beauty in life. Maybe sometimes I try to think of it that way. Now that I'm a grown-up, that's where I start to understand what was going on, because my mom told me, like, during the genocide, even when I was a baby, I would never cry. So even after the genocide, she would wake up in the middle of the night to check on me to see if I'm alive, because even after the genocide, I wasn't crying. So even growing up, I wasn't speaking a lot. It gave me an ability to enjoy or to appreciate what I see, you know, to really use my eyes to communicate and to understand things, you know. I was born in 1994 during the genocide against Tutsi, 9th May. So May, really in the middle of the genocide against Tutsis. It's always, I always say that during April, when I see, they say we are commemorating on the 30th time, it always hit me, because I'm like, oh, I'm 30 now, you know. So each and every year, the commemoration always linked with my birthday, which is a few months, 1 month after. And there's a lot of stories. Maybe I cannot go through all of them for my family, because usually in April, my family, we like to sit together and talk about what happened with my big brothers, my sister, my mom, my dad. And for example, our house was attacked on the 8th, just 8th April, second day after the genocide started, where my mom was pregnant of me at that time, pregnant with me. And a group came into the gate, and one group went to my grandmother's, because she was living in the same compound with us, my maternal grandmother, and also another group came at our house. So my mom told me the story of how an Interahamwe took the machete, and there was like the side of it on her belly. Get that Inyenzi out of there. Get that Inyenzi out of there. And the other group went to my grandmother, and when he brought the machete up to kill her, another person who was part of the group, for a reason that she still doesn't understand now, came and said, no, stop, those ones will kill them after. So, like with the machete already up, about to cut her. And the other group who went to my grandmother already macheted her. And yeah, and I think that's something that I always think of and feel for my mom, because at some point we had to flee. So they macheted her, but she went into a coma. She wasn't like, she was half dead. But because my mom was pregnant and we saw that we couldn't stay, they saw, I wasn't even there, they saw that they couldn't stay, and they fled, but my mom had to leave her mom half dead. My dad was now with us because he was wanted in the neighborhood. He had to flee, he had to go, but he's the one who arranged a way for my mom to get to Kanombe. But because he was so wanted, being close to them was being a threat to them. It was a risk to be with them. So he had to send them to Kanombe, and that's where I was born. So I think even like 5 days after, if I remember from the story very well, it was 5 days after I was born, so they had to flee with a newborn of 5 days and a woman who just gave birth, you know, and my big brother who was just 14. And even after, on the way, my mom was grazed by a bullet, I think on her leg, and so she couldn't walk properly. So I can't imagine how my big brother was handling me as a baby and handling maybe some of the things they had, bags and all that, helping my mom to walk. So yeah, that's the story of my birth. Yeah. So growing up, first of all, I was very shy. I was very observant. Even now I am. I like to observe things. But when I really got into the clothing business, I used to buy clothes for myself, and my friends would come at my house and be like, I like this t-shirt, like you can have it. How much can you pay me? They would pay me. But when I was doing shopping, I would see something that my friend would like. I'm like, Alan would love that. Let me get that for him. Then he comes and get the t-shirt, I go back and get two, and I ended up with my room full of clothes. And I started dressing celebrities. Some of them were my friends. So it was really crazy, all that in my room. But it's good when you created something from an idea, go to a tailor, then make it happen, maybe do alterations here and there, you know, the whole process. I think I appreciate the process more. And now when somebody's wearing an item that I made, it really brings me joy. Yes, you can be creative, but you need to nurture that creativity by doing research, by understanding the history, by understanding where we come from, you know. Fashion designers need to take fashion as serious as they can in order for them to be as creative as they can be. So doing research, understanding the history, understanding why did we dress like this, what is the history of items like Komushanana, Minchenyero, where did Imigongo come from? And if you see how we dress, even though that we were split by those ideologies that really brought down our country, we all wear the same clothes. For example, all the ladies in our culture, they wear mishanana. It wasn't like you have to be from this ethnic group to wear this, not that I know at least. So I think that's having a common ground, because reconciliation, unity is having a common ground. Even if we don't agree on this or that, but we can at least agree that that's a nice outfit, you know? I think fashion is life. It's part of everything. And also it was part of what happened in Rwanda. It was so hard to recognize our people, you know, after 20, 15, 10 years. So most of the battles were recognized through fashion, through what they were wearing. You know, someone recognizing either a shirt, a jewelry, or other fashion items. So to make the point that really fashion is an identity, is part of who we are, and also something memorable, even when we are thinking of our people, you know. People who committed the genocide had outfits they would wear, outfits that if somebody sees somebody who went through the 1994 genocide against Tutsi, a survivor of the genocide against Tutsi, can be triggered by seeing an item like that. but also there's a uniform that RPF had with a green with some small checked lines. It's also a trigger of joy, of courage, you know. When you even go to the museum at the parliament and look at that uniform, you know, even when you look at it, it means courage. I remember when I was a kid, we used to, some of those uniforms were still around in the community. Looking at it, just looking at that shirt, it meant bravery, courage, you know. So at least we have also a part of fashion that inspires to be courageous, you know. My story is your story, because even for people who were not in the country, they lost something, they lost someone, you know. They were all in some ways, one way or another, affected with what happened. And also they are part of the conversation because they are part of rebuilding the country, you know. That's the conversation we're having, you know, 30 years after. What have we done, you know? What needs to be done? How can we do better and better and better, you know? So everyone has to be part of the conversation. Even a kid who was born today, they need to be part of the conversation, because we need to remember in order to not do the same mistakes.